Kosovo.
Kosovo. Kosovo. Kosovo.
I was there from the fall of 2020 to the summer of 2021. And basically I just worked at a clinic for, we just took care of our own like US soldiers. Like a lot of what we did is just did like COVID tests and stuff like that. We were locked down pretty good. So I didn't really know anything. Like when they first told me I was going, I like honestly thought it was in the Middle East. I just had no idea where it was. And then, so I really knew nothing. And they gave us like a brief when we did like our pre-mobilization stuff. And that's when they told us about like the history of like the Kosovo wars and like the ethnic like cleansing and the flee when they had to flee the country and stuff like that. So I guess that's when I learned. Basically, they just gave us a rundown of everything, like in like modern times at least, that we would be like dealing with, like the Balkan Wars and stuff like that. We didn't really talk to I didn't really talk to the people there about it, just because it's like I don't want to get them upset or anything like that, but just like information that I had to seek out on my own about like, oh, actually what did happen here and stuff like that. We did a couple times where like we would train with other contingencies. Like we did training with the Greeks, with like the Hungarians, and like medevac training, just in case. We did a training on our camp in case there was a mass cal, because if there was, we would obviously all have to work together and stuff like that. And that was like, they're all, we're doing the same thing over there. So that was really fun though, to see like how you do things differently and stuff like that. And then we had a couple times where we went out into the different towns and did training with the local like Kosovo police and their fire department. And that was cool too, just to see like, it's like we would tell them, try to teach them something. They'd be like, well, we don't have that. So like, what should we do? Everybody over there really like loves America, like the U.S. Army, because the way that they see it is like America is like helping them and stuff like that. So we go out and they like, if we were out and we'd stop for coffee, they'd buy it, or they'd buy our lunch and stuff like that. And they were just really nice to us, especially when you get farther south, like closer to the Albanian border. They were really loved us. But then I guess the farther like north you get, they're a little bit more like standoffish, still not like mean or like violent by any means, but just like they're not gonna buy your lunch up there probably. But things get kind of frisky up there sometimes, honestly, and that's in the news and stuff. I wasn't up there that much. We did have our troop, so I'm in a cavalry unit, so we have Cab Scouts, which is like recon, and they had a camp up there, and that's all they did is they would go on patrols like with them and the Kosovo like border police, and then the Serbian like army as well, and they would do like joint patrols and stuff like that. But I went up there a couple times, but that was about it. The one instance I can think of is like we had because I'm a medic, so we had a group of medics up there like doing like something in the field. So they were in like the mountains up there, and this like guy came and was just like yelling at them, and they have interpreters up there, so like to be able to communicate with them obviously, and he was just mad that they were there, but it just wasn't that big of a deal. I really liked it. It was definitely just a good experience to be able to get out of like where you were raised and see like the way that people live in different countries, and it really puts it into perspective, like how, we might not think we do at times, but how good we really do have it in America. Even with like a lot of stuff going on, it's still like obviously not that. And even just like the way that people live over there is so different than the way we live here. So it's just really eye-opening. I don't think it's a first world country, maybe a second world country, but like it's pretty nice over there. And I guess maybe one thing that I was surprised at is like the education system. Like I didn't know they have like good schools over there, and like also a lot of them speak English. Like almost everybody over there speaks English, which kind of surprised me because I wasn't expecting to be able to go like into the grocery store and be able to have like a full-on conversation with people over there, but you could, because they just know English. obviously the United States and NATO and stuff recognizes Kosovo as a country, even though there are places that still don't. I guess I'm not super like in touch with all the history about it, but I don't know why it's such a big deal. I guess because of like the natural resources that they have there was a reason for it. But I guess I just think if it's being recognized as a country by NATO and like NATO allies and partners in the US, like they should just accept that at some point. Like it's not helping them any to just keep being mad at each other. Like they're not getting anywhere. Personally, I think it's a good thing to be there. I don't think I guess unless you get into the politics of like taxpayer monies and stuff like that, which is a whole different thing. I don't think it's hurting anybody. I think it's probably helping to just know that there is like military occupation there in case something were to happen, or just to be like, oh, we can't do that. There's like, we're not going to be able to get away with that because there's like troops here. I don't know. I'm pretty liberal as it goes, so I don't think anybody should ever go to war. I guess just furthers my thinking of that. Like, what's the point, guys? Obviously, it takes time to like build those relationships and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure when the U.S. first went, it wasn't like the way that it is now, but I think we built a good relationship with them, and they're happy to have us there for the most part. It's usually doesn't like impact it that much. Like the beginning of this semester, I had to go to a school that cut right into the first week of classes. So that kind of sucked. But I just told all my professors, like, that was probably the best week to miss is the first week because you're not really into it yet. But other than that, it's usually just the Saturday, Sunday once a month. Sometimes it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you just miss a day of classes. But it's all right. I'd say go for it. It's a really good experience. It's really neat to be able to work with other countries and meet people from other countries and just see, like, learn about what they do in their army and stuff like that. There's really no downsides to it, if you ask me.